to another episode of the Balance of Opinions podcast with your boy Kiki Crush Glass and my home girl
This is Free La.
and our two guests today.
Miss Sasha.
Danny here.
Okay. Da Vinci's not present. He's having a tough time with the migraines. He's a little underneath the weather. So I'm going to be the only male on this one right now. I don't like it, but I'm here for the smoke. We're going to talk about relationship problems in the sense of people not communicating, getting the wrong cues, and then we're going to turn it over to that guy, that 5'2" guy that needs a booster seat to have an actual relationship named Tory Lanez. But we're going to start with the relationship goals. So, not relationship goals, sorry. With the relationship problems in general. Dealing with male and females. So, any of you ladies want to start off before we hit that video? Get a little clip of that?
Well, no, I think the video will be a good little opener.
Okay.
That you sent out and all of us got a chance to watch. So maybe we'll just give a little bit of a rundown on the video. Is a guy and a girl, they had a one night stand, and I think I'll even kind of use that term loosely. They had slept together once, and then they're revisiting that interaction through a series of questions individually and then with each other. And it just really highlights how communication can get lost and misconstrued. So yeah, run the clip and we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
I had a one-night stand with Madison.
My name is Madison. I had a one-night stand with Cody.
How long ago was it? Probably happened 5 years ago. How did you know that?
Cody was introduced to me by a mutual friend. I thought he was super cute, so I was willing to go on a date with him.
You know, we were more friends. We had hung out a few times, but she was definitely hesitant about going anywhere further than friends. And we had never done anything either, so.
We definitely kissed.
How did it all happen? How did it start? One night, she invited me over for some drinks.
I vaguely remember maybe watching a movie with him in my bed.
Did you guys drink?
I honestly can't remember at all.
We were drinking vodka. We had gone to her room, and then I think I had kissed her a little bit, and we were laying on the bed.
The actual initiation of sex was kind of weird.
And I think that she got a little upset, and she said that she didn't want to have sex, and she just wanted to hang out.
I had talked about not being sure that I wanted to continue and him really wanting to. And
all right, stop it right there.
I understand.
Stop it right there. For me, they both are a little weird. I don't know too many people. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. If a girl invites me over and we watch movies in the bed, she talk about Netflix, she ain't even gotta say to chill. Because if she tried to have a movie in her living room, then for me, I know ain't nothing gonna happen. But we laying down in the bed watching movies, drinking, ain't no bumping the uglies going on. What we doing in there? We just gonna take a nap? I'm asking, no, for real.
It could be assumed that that was a Netflix and chill situation because of the setup. Like if someone invites me to their home to watch a movie, I know you're probably going to watch the credits and entertain me for a bit until you're ready to clap them cheeks. Like that's how I feel.
Okay. Well, what about you two lovely ladies? Danny, Free?
Pretty much. I mean, if you got alcohol in the mix and you're in your bedroom, I mean, that's kind of like a already unspoken invitation to like, hello, I want to smash.
Right. It's true. And I don't even think so much the where. I think, of course, the bedroom clearly, well, I guess not clearly in these, in their case, but, you know, the insinuation of something else going on is there. But I think we've all maybe had an experience, you know, that we go over to somebody's house to watch movies. I think in our adult years, going over to watch movies, it's senseless TV for 15, 20 minutes and then you get it on, right? So I think um, I understand where his assumption was coming that, this might be more. It's kind of weird. I find that if she didn't want to, which she did state, right? But then why have him also in your bedroom, right? So she may have thought she was giving off one message, but he was definitely receiving something else in the fact that they were in the bedroom together, watching movies
But
and drinking alcohol.
but to play devil's advocate, maybe she was on board at first or thought she was like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this
Yeah,
if it becomes physical. And then maybe she changed her mind at the time. Because as women, we're allowed to change our mind at any moment, anytime,
absolutely.
which we do all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me personally, she can go ahead and change her mind. My reaction is gonna be like, and you might have to bleep this out, bro, a little bit, Bitch, why the fuck you got me in your room? You wanna watch a movie and chill? We can do it in the living room. Why we have liquor here? What the fuck are we doing? Like, really? You got me over at your house at night. This ain't no daytime flex. At night. I'm in your bed with you. We sipping Matas, whatever. And we watching a senseless freaking movie. In my mind, from the phone call at 12 o'clock at night, I'm like, I'm getting some pussy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no second thought. There's, oh, I'm going over there. We're gonna have a few. We'll talk a little bit about God knows whatever, and then I might slap my hand on the hip and see if she dashes the hand off. Then I'm like, all right, this bitch played. You know what I mean? Caught back up, like whatever, man. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But I understand the changing in the mind, but why send that if you might be hesitant? Why not start somewhere where, do you know what I mean? If he makes his move, it's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little less angering if they're in the living room and he puts his hand on her, he tries to give her a kiss. She's like, you're not over here for that. We're not in my bedroom. We're in the living room, watching a movie, sitting on the couch, chilling. Your bedroom is made for certain things. I know you can have sex anywhere. People have sex outside. People have sex with an elephant. I understand these things. Okay? But your bedroom, when you invite somebody over, male or female, 9 times out of 10 gives the other person the thought that you clapping them cheeks. Am I lying?
No.
No, you're definitely right.
Not to put you ladies on the spot, but you know what I mean? Like, if you are going to invite a gentleman over, if you invite him over to your house and you guys are in the living room, he shouldn't have no thoughts about that unless you engage. Correct?
True.
Is that fair enough?
I think the safest thing to do is actually have an actual date at a physical location that is no one's home. That way you can get to know that person and you don't have the same pressure for having sexual relation because this is a date. That's it. If you choose to do whatever afterwards, after that date, but if you're out somewhere, then you can have that conversation and kiki like you thought you would at home in bed watching a movie.
But hold on. You said the two key words, right? In bed. Watching them.
Yeah,
You
the
can
environment
have some,
is
but you
the
can have some.
environment sets up that like, ooh, it's sexy time.
Well, no, of course, it's the bedroom. But if it's your living room, it's not necessarily going to set up sexy time. It could literally just be, hey, you know what I mean? Just come over and chill instead of going to the bar and eating food that we probably don't want to eat or drinking liquor we don't want to drink. We could chill out here. I've got a TV. The lights are all on. No lights are dimmed. We're just watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a male. I'm just saying, I take certain hits a different way. If I come to your house and we go into your bedroom to watch a movie, like I said, I'm thinking we bumping uglies. If we sitting on the couch, I'm like, okay, let me see how the first 10, 15 minutes go in this movie. If she snuggle up, okay, I know I'm in. It's just we gotta watch the movie and then we can proceed to the smashing.
But even that, even if she snuggles up, that still doesn't necessarily mean that you're in.
No, no, it doesn't mean that.
She might look at you and be like, look at this big black teddy bear. He is so comfy looking. And she just wanted to, get a cuddle, feel, a nice heavy arm around her. But that still doesn't necessarily mean that she wants your ugly to bump her ugly.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that's a gateway. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, okay, we're comfortable. I can ask the question. I can make my move. If we're both just sitting on the couch watching the movie, I know I'm there to watch a movie. There's no thought in my mind that anything else other than watching the movie and having a few drinks, if that. And alcohol? Who invites alcohol to something if you're not trying to do something? It's not like she having a party at the
house. Am I the only one that drinks alone? Like, I watch movies and drink. I was like, I have a glass of wine by myself and watch a movie.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think alcohol.
Glass,
I mean, sometimes it's a whole bottle. It depends on the day.
It's true.
Okay, I understand. I'm not, listen, all I'm saying is if you invite another person over, the opposite sex, and you involve alcohol and you involve your bedroom, it doesn't matter if they're a creeper, a virgin, what in their mind, those areas and that situation, it's like, hey, I guess this is what's going on.
Right.
Unless I'm crazy, I don't know. Am I
maybe all three together will give you that impression. But if I invite somebody, even if we're sitting on the couch, anyone that comes to my house knows that first of all, I always have liquor. Mm-hmm. And I will always come over. It's my thing as a host. You come over, would you like a drink? I have everything from apple juice to Douce. So what do you want?
You say, okay, she out here balling.
Yes, I only drink top shelf liquor. Come on now.
I know. Listen, I'm not trying to frown on people who have alcohol when they're with another person. I'm not saying that they're bad or that they're inciting something. All I'm saying is, for me, I'm talking about me, my opinion, how I feel. Because 99% of the time, if I've gone to a girl's house and there's liquor and it's just me and her, and we just sitting there drinking, eventually somebody gonna say, so you wanna go to the room? Or you wanna do it right here? Like, you know what I mean? It's very weird that you'll drink and be like, all right, Billy, all right, Jane, you have a good night. See you later.
But you're able to do that with your girlfriends. Like,
your
if I have girlfriends over, we can drink and then be like, peace out. And I have guy friends that I can have a drink with them and we're just strictly platonic and we can have a drink, kiki, laugh, and then be like, all right, good night.
But you already set those boundaries though. That's why it's there. Correct?
Possibly.
Not
yeah,
possibly.
They know that it's.
They
know that we're friends.
Whenever you want to take them off the friend zone bench and put them in the game, they know because coach says, "Hey, time out. This star player doing it. Get off the bench."
You don't think you don't think they can be totally platonic, like no attraction whatsoever?
No, I believe that. But what I'm saying is that it's already known. Like it's these friends that she has. These aren't Johnny.
They know that it's platonic.
They know. You know what I'm saying? She's never put up the feelers. They've never put up the feelers, or maybe they put up the feelers and she said, friend zone. You know what I mean? She said, hold up, boo-boo. You're cute and all, but you're just not gonna make it. Your requirements aren't all met. I understand, but there's an acknowledgement there. You know what I mean? Anybody else have something else to say about this before we roll a bit more of this clip?
Keep running it.
All right, D, pull it up.
Stood the way she felt, and I didn't want to push anything if she didn't want to do it.
And then what happened?
A little later, I may have initiated kissing. She seemed into it. Everything was good.
And then you said, I want to have sex.
So yeah, so I definitely said that I was going to have sex with. Like I said that I wanted to. I just was having a lot of nervousness. It was kind of a weird mix of emotions all at once, and I didn't really have a good idea of how to be a good communicator when it came to like sexual desires.
What do you remember her body looking like?
Oh, she definitely has an amazing body.
I was really insecure. I've always had body dysmorphic issues where I always think that I'm heavier than I really am. So I think that was playing into everything as well.
Did you use protection?
We used protection. I do remember that. I feel like it was something weird, like a cherry flavored condom or something like that.
I don't think that we used protection. He wasn't really wanting to, and that was definitely a factor of like my nervousness as well.
How long did it last?
It had lasted quite a while.
10 minutes.
We had started out in missionary, moved to
We can't hear you.
My bad.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you ladies were saying right there, right? You changing your mind whenever you want to. So I think she was pressured. See what I mean? By him initiating the kissing. That she was kind of like, oh, okay. But then when he said, oh yeah, we ain't using no condom, she's like, STDs? No, please. Am I correct? Or
I think I see that he didn't respect that first boundary she set when initially she said, you know what, I'm not ready to do this. And he stated, yeah, so, I didn't want to pressure her, so I left it alone. And then, a little bit later, I may have started kissing her again. So it was almost a situation that it was like, okay, well, she said no, but here, have a couple more drinks, you know? Let me make her feel really comfortable. Let me talk about what's going on in this movie or something. And then I'm going to try again. And then I'm going to try again. Right. And then, yeah, she seems that she was like, yeah, I definitely said that I wanted to, but I had nervousness. She had some apprehension. And then he's like, well, no, I don't want to use a condom. Right. And in the end of it, it's like she agreed, but it wasn't an enthusiastic consent by any means. It was more so just relenting. That's what I see.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. And I think also the part where she says, like, how she felt insecure and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of women all feel some sort of insecurity about their body or whatever it is, right? And so when you are, you know, having sexual relations with like a new partner, there's always that kind of nervousness. So maybe she even felt that and didn't say anything because she's like, oh, well, it's someone new. And she may have second guessed her own initial feelings.
Because also, too, I think the idea of sex with said partner, whoever that person is, can get really inflated and know it's going to be the greatest thing and, look like a cover of a Harlequin romance novel. But then you're there, face to face in the situation, and that is completely different than, what you kind of imagined or pictured in your head it was going to be like. What if he's the finest thing, and then as soon as he took off his boots, the whole living room was cheesy, and you're just like, oh, this is going to be rough.
But what about you, Daddy? What you got to say about this?
I definitely think that he knew the boundary that she kind of loosely set, but he kind of like, let me push until. I definitely think he pushed a lot. He knew what he wanted, and he was kind of just like, okay, well, it's gonna happen. And all I gotta do is just push certain buttons, and she was just kind of like giving into it. I don't think she really set any firm boundaries, and I don't think she really stuck to them because she felt like, okay, well, I like this guy, maybe I should, like, you know what I mean? I don't think she stuck to her guns because she liked him, and then she ended up kind of like, oh, maybe I should have stuck to
folding like a cheap tent. She folded like a cheap tent. And again, it goes back to what I was just talking about, right? I'm not putting any blame on anybody, but if you don't want certain things to go on, we all know as people, forget kids, forget adults. I'm talking about male and female interaction, man and women interaction here, right? Bedroom, liquor, Netflix. We in 2020. Everybody knows as an adult, once you turn 18, 19, somebody goes, hey, Netflix, you usually end it off with, yeah, chill. And it's either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's one. Two, you're not going to be in your bedroom watching movies. She ain't got no kids. What are you doing in the bedroom watching movies? How much privacy? Does she have a roommate? I don't know if she has a roommate. Maybe she has a roommate. That's why they're in the bedroom. But even then, if you don't want the other person to have thoughts, or if they're bad with communication just like you can't set these things up for them to mislead themselves into thinking that this is something that you might want. Yet again, I'm not blaming. What I'm saying is she herself already said she doesn't know how to communicate what she wants sexually. So that right there is one of the first stepping stones to why this guy pushed. Because he's looking like, why she look so uncomfortable? I mean, we was just kissing. She didn't say no. Well, she did say no. And then, like Free said, a couple more drinks. We talking about the movie. I run my hand across her leg. She does that little shiver thing. He goes, oh. So now he start kissing again. And she like, okay, all right, John. I see this is what you want, and I really like you. Instead of just being like, listen, John, I really don't feel comfortable. You know, I wanted you to come over, and I thought, John's going to get mad. I'm going to get mad. I'm like, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, I'm going to respect the boundaries that they're setting. If they don't set the boundaries, it's not to blame them, but it's both. It's him and her. They're both to blame for the interaction.
Well, I agree with that in the sense that when we're setting boundaries, right, for other people, I don't think it's only then for us to expect the other person to uphold those boundaries 100%, right? So I say, Asha, this is my boundary around A, B, C, and D. But in that boundary, I'm breaking it in front of you, in a sense, or I'm loosening it around you and then still expecting you to uphold it 100%. So the boundary that I set with someone else, it's still my responsibility as well to 100% uphold that, as I have hopefully an expectation of them that they would too. But it's difficult for them, in a sense, to fully uphold it when I'm not even upholding it for myself. And it was my boundary that I set.
Oh, of course, definitely. Like there's no skipping through that one. That's definitely. But what I'm saying is, she loosely set the boundary and then folded like a cheap tent, and then she's upset about it. It's like, well, you upset with him, or shouldn't you be upset with yourself? I'm not victim blaming. I am not saying that she's wrong. I'm just saying, looking at it, common sense isn't always so common. But if you tell somebody no, and then, no candy for you, and 20 minutes later you're handing them candy, what was the purpose of you saying no the first time? To show power? To show you have will? What was that all about? My bad, Ashley. Go ahead.
No, I think she was just having an internal struggle with, okay, do I want to or do I not? Sometimes it's between the mind and her vagina. Her vagina is probably like, hey, girl, you know what time it is. But in her mind, she's like, do I want to? It could be a number of things. Like, do I want to seem like I'm easy, like I'm a fast girl? Or do I want to get to know this guy a little bit more? And she even said, like, she had a hard time communicating how she was feeling because to express that would express like vulnerability as well. And so that's probably that internal fight inside of her, like, should I or should I not? Or I said no, but he's trying to, so I'm just going to give in. That was an internal struggle and fight and war that she was having just within herself, and then still having to communicate to him, yes, I want to do this, or no, I don't want to, or I'm just going to kind of give in, kind of thing. And that's what it looks like she did. She's just like, okay, I'm going to give in.
Yeah.
And the condom thing, I think, is what really, really kind of threw her off. You know what I mean? There's some dirty dogs out here that's just like, condom, what's that for? What do you mean, what's that for? I don't want what you have. like I want to be sharing whatever you got in your past. Hell nah. And I mean, for me as a male, I'm married. So before marriage, it was always strap up. I don't care if it was Beyonce. I mean, after the first couple times, I might unstrap, but you know what I mean? I got to make sure that I'm not spreading nothing or catching nothing. Because the last thing I want to be is that guy on Dirty Dog talking about this guy here giving out every STD known to man. Like, nah.
Yeah, you definitely should be practicing safe sex if you're doing random hookups here and there.
Right.
Like, and even if you are in, a monogamous relationship with someone or you're dating someone, still you have to communicate and be like, okay, well, we should get tested, or there's the responsibility that comes with it. It's not just all fun and games. You have to actually practice safe sex, communicate, hey, let's get tested, or I have been tested, have you? Because you don't know what's out there.
No. No. And also, you can't be a dirty dog, whether it's a man or a woman, right? You can't be out here being a dirty dog, letting everybody just do whatever they want, and your shit just hanging out there, and then you want to settle down with somebody, and you're not willing to go get yourself tested or let them know that you've been in the backyard playing in the mud. Okay. Anything else anybody want to add to this before we get back to the clips?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Did you not hear how this man said it lasted a long time? And she was like, no, it didn't.
Hold on. Abin Preach, I thank you for this one. Abin Preach, I thank you for this one. Hold on, man. Let me explain something to y'all, okay? Explain something very clear, okay? If I'm doing all the work, it probably feel like 45 minutes. If you ain't doing all the work, it's 10 minutes. Some of y'all women out here be getting up in that cowgirl position, okay? And 3 minutes into the stroke, you talking about support me and help me. If you weren't ready to get into that position, why the hell you asking me to help you, huh? If you doing all the work, if you on the boy busting it down, clapping the cheeks, and it might be 10 minutes. To you, it might feel like 45, girl. Remember that. To all ladies out here, okay?
I thought that was the most hilarious and cliche thing to actually happen in that video. Because he was like, yeah, it lasted long. And she's like, bruh, come on now.
Maybe,
it was a few minutes.
She was saying 10 to stretch it out for him, so he didn't sound so bad. So
it was about like 10 minutes.
How many y'all ladies? How many ladies are that 10 minute slam though? Be honest.
If it's a quickie, then that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, if it's a quickie, like if you guys.
How do you know when it's a quickie? Y'all agreed? Listen, this is gonna be a quickie. Don't act like y'all ain't getting no minute, man. Stop.
No, but if it's in the middle of the afternoon and you guys just kind of come up on each other, then it wasn't going to be a session. It was going to be a minute, and we do what we got to do, and then keep on moving with the rest of our day. Right?
Yeah.
But if it is this type of situation and consent is there, and you're coming over to my house or I'm going to your place and we're having drinks, I'm not doing all of that. Shaving my coochie and making sure my bra and underwear and everything match because I've made up my mind and saying this is going down. And I get there for 6.5 minutes.
That would be
that hurts my feelings.
Yeah, it does. And then after, they come with the explanation, oh, well, and you're like, yeah, it's okay, your back is turned. Like,
thinking how you could be at home binge watching something on Netflix, drinking wine.
Yeah, ladies, it's cold, man.
I could have cleaned my oven.
Why the pussy was just fire, man? The man couldn't handle the fire pussy. Like, you never think about that? Maybe y'all threw it back on him too hard. He was like, oh, and just let off. I mean, if you drop a gun, sometimes they accidentally let off.
Yeah, we've been told our shit's kryptonite. We get it, but still.
No, listen.
Listen. I can't help the WAP. Okay. I cannot help it. It's not my problem. That's a you problem.
I understand that. I'm just saying, for some men, they slide up in there. They might see the booty. something might catch their eye and like, you know what I mean? They forget not to clench the booty, and next thing you know, they let off like they shoot the whole club up. You know what I mean? They ready for round 2 though. Nah.
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so after 6.5. You better be ready for the next.
So if he gives you the 12 minutes, you good? Two sessions?
2 6-minute sessions. I don't know. It depends on the day.
Okay, no, hold on. Let me ask you all a question though. Let me read you back to this. I know I'm sidetracking everything. But also for that 6 minutes he make you bust a nut though. You still gonna be upset with him?
Can you guys hear the crickets? We wouldn't be that upset. I personally would not be that upset. I'd be like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, but think about it. If you get back to when we go back to the clip, and she was like, it was like 10 minutes. She didn't talk about no toe curling experience. She didn't have no toe curling experience whatsoever. So
exactly, it was probably like 10 minutes of her like, oh my gosh, when is this gonna be over?
Not even. Why am I here? Why is it
exactly?
How she go
probably more so than it was.
How she go bust another if she's like?
Because her mind wasn't in it in the first place. That's the thing.
That's true.
She wasn't.
She 100%
ready.
Yeah, she didn't honor her initial thoughts of saying, you know what, I'm actually not ready. Because to know, there's a difference, I think, when you have a little bit of apprehension or nervousness, especially if it's a new partner. And for her, it came across like she had a lot of different things that were conflicting for her that she was kind of fighting and working through. And that, I think, was her higher self telling her, no, you're not ready. You know, and not necessarily because of who he was, but maybe just in general. She wasn't ready to be in that position with him or with anyone, right? And she didn't fully trust it to listen to it and say that, okay, because if he's so pissed off and never wants to speak to her again, especially anybody that carries around some cherry flavored condom, like, what is this, 92?
All right, y'all ladies, everything else now before we get back on track.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all good? All right, roll the clip, bro.
Several different positions.
I do distinctly remember this part about halfway through into the sex. I just started to have this anxiety and panic and kind of weirdness. And in the middle of sex, when I get that way mentally, I start to disassociate. And I don't know that it was all that enjoyable for either of us.
I actually don't remember a lot of when we were having sex. I remember that it was good.
What was the aftermath? So you get up in the morning.
The next morning, everything seemed fine, but she didn't want to hang out again. And I said, well, why didn't you want to hang out?
I texted him and I was mad at him for what it felt like in the moment that he had pressured me into having sex.
And I said, well, you said that earlier and that I'd understand, and then started kissing in bed, and then we had sex. And so there was never any, Cody, I don't want to do this later in the night. So I was definitely a little upset.
I just told him that he was a dick for not taking into account that I wasn't sure that I wanted to have sex and I didn't want to see him again. And so I just cut ties and I never saw him again.
Did sleeping with her ruin your guys' relationship?
Yeah.
If you could go back, would you have done things differently?
Yeah, I think I would have taken things slower and just tried to feel out the way she really felt instead of trying to rush in and have sex that night.
Cut it. Stop that right now before we get into this. Boy, oh boy, this boy sound like Bill Cosby. I'm not going that far. I'm just saying. He said I wouldn't have pushed it. You pushed it, dude. The girl said, no, I don't want to. And then you went back at it. If you wanted the relationship to be built properly, you have to accept the boundaries sometimes, and in most times, regarding this situation, even if the person loosens up the hold. Why if this girl turned around and said this man raped her? I'm not trying to go that far, but I'm just being honest. Would he be able to deny it? She told him no. He willingly admitted, yeah, she said no. And then I came back again. Mm-hmm. Right? like we were just talking about before we rolled the clip. Of course she didn't bust her nut. Of course it was 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes of agony. She was like, man, can this guy hurry up? I'll turn this way. I'll do this. You nut yet? All right, cool. She turned over like, fuck this nigga. You know what I mean? And this guy acted as if because she cut him off the next day. You know how many women I know do that type of shit in the morning? Whatever happened, they feel some type of way. Communication, right? Instead of being like, yo, you know what? Last night what you did was fucked up. I don't appreciate that. Give the guy a chance to apologize or to say, oh, well, you know, whatever the case is, and leave it at that. She acted like everything was cool, and then she texted him, he was at your house. Why? What, you think he was going to beat you up or something? You couldn't tell Billy, like, yo, listen, I didn't want that whack dick last night. I brought you over here because I wanted to build a relationship, not become fuck buddies. And you fucked that all up. So, lose my number.
Well, yeah, it may have been more opportune or fair, I guess, to the guy if she said it in his face. But if she was already just for who she is and what she was experiencing was having an issue just communicating and really even sticking to her guns, either no, I don't want to, or I'm uncomfortable, or fully disassociating while having sex. I find that we would be hard pressed to honestly expect that she would have that open conversation with him the next morning, right? And she didn't even call him to say such and such. She texted. So, her communication style might be to deliver the stuff and then almost try and remove herself as far away and hope that that person reacts to whatever they're reading in this way or that way, or at least give it to them and then she's far away, as opposed to having that face to face. Could have been difficult to say, look, I feel physically insecure. I didn't know how to talk to you about sex. I actually had sex with you just because I want you to like me. Like, how do you have that conversation, right, with the person right in their face?
Yeah, you have to be very vulnerable at that moment to say that and to admit your own insecurities, share your feelings, and do that face to face. Most people have a hard time doing it. Most people will say what they need to say via text because they don't have to actually deal with the response, right? If they text back and you don't like what they said, you can ignore it. Or if they text back, you might be able to, banter back and forth via text, but you don't get a good sense of the tone. Where if you're face to face with someone and you have to tell them, listen, I feel insecure about my body, I was feeling nervous about having sex, even though I didn't really want to. I disassociated myself in the moment. That's a lot to have to tell someone and admit. So I understand why she just sent him a text and why she wasn't like the next morning or, wake him up and be like, yo, my nigga, this is what happened. This is how I feel.
What about you, Danny?
I get the difficulty of being vulnerable and leaning on text or just not saying anything and disappearing. A lot of people tend to do that these days, but I don't know. I think we just have to cannot get over our fear of confrontation. Maybe just kind of face it head on, because we gotta have that solid communication. And a lot of the times people lean on nonverbal cues or just a nonverbal form of communication, but I think we should be more explicit with our verbal communication to kind of get our points across, and for sure that you're understanding each other. No lines are crossed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely, I understand it's hard for people to communicate these things, but this is the problem that we have in this society in general, right? People are taking an action instead of somebody telling them what's going on. For me, I feel that they're both kind of childish in the way that they like they were separated before we watched them together. Kind of childish in the way that they handled the situation because me as a male, if a girl told me no, all right, cool. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get my feelings a little bit, but I'm not gonna call her a bitch because of that. I'll call her a bitch if she let me put it in for 5 minutes and she, oh, I don't want to do this. What the fuck? Why did you just say no? Just say no. Then I can be like, all right, cool. I ain't leaving with blue balls. But you gonna let me put in a quarter of the work, and then you gonna be like, nah, I don't know about this. If it goes for a female, I would think, right? A guy goes, all right, I'm into this, and 3 strokes in, he's like, yo, I can't do this no more. You gonna be like, what's wrong with you, bro? Are you stupid? You have me out here this ball spread out like this, and you just go 3 strokes and you done? Like, you didn't even nut. I didn't nut. It was just getting good. You just want to leave?
Side question. What would, in the situation, right, that you can think of, not saying that you've experienced, but that you can think of, what would have a guy start and then be like, oh, you know what? I just can't with a girl.
I can give you 2 examples I experienced. One girl, that WAP stunk. Like, it stunk. It stunk. My shit was at 10 hut. I got 3 strokes in. My nigga said, we retreat. We backing out. I'm there looking like, what the? This ain't never. My room was clean. I showered already. I knew what was going on. I made sure everything hygienically on me was good. Everything around me, new sheet, new blanket, everything, pillow, everything crisp. I had to open the window. Okay? Another one. Listen, ladies, I have no problem with y'all trying to be one of the guys. But when you sound like one of the guys, during sex, it's a problem. I don't, yeah, nigga, pull my back. Just a minute ago, you started to be about, hey, how's it going, baby? Oh, that's good. My shit rising. All of a sudden, yeah, nigga, doing like, want to raw. Like, what the fuck are you talking, girl? Take the bass out your voice, okay? Take the bass out your voice. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. All right? Make sure y'all watch the coochie, whatever you gotta do to get your pH balance in order. Maybe the foods, whatever it is, because there's men out here that got their ish thinking too. So I'm not trying to sit out here and crucify women. I'm just saying my 2 experiences: the bitch sounded like Debo, and the other one, she didn't wash her shit. Okay? So for me, that's 2 reasons why I back out. Now, for y'all females, for y'all ladies, my black women, what will make y'all back up? I want to hear this now. Come on. No crickets. No crickets. Say it with your chest. I like that, though. I don't want to hear no deep voices. Y'all some lovely ladies. Y'all got lady voices. I don't want to hear the, oh, you know, nigga was, I don't want to hear all that. Come on now.
It's like, okay, mine might be a little petty, but like,
Be honest.
okay, so like, if you're gonna talk a big game, right? And yeah, I'm gonna do this, and you won't fall in love with me, and I can give, and then showtime starts, and there's nothing to work with.
This chair.
Showtime starts, and there's nothing to work with. Like, what am I supposed to? What do you do?
Oh, so the man said he had the foot long and he came out there with a 6-inch.
No, okay, not even 6-inch.
Jeez, with the 4s? The guy came with the 4G, fam. He didn't even come with the 5G.
I don't know, and I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying I want a baseball bat either. But I'm just saying, like, it's so small that I didn't know. So I was like,
Jeez,
so yeah, that's a reason to back up and be like, I'm out. I left something in my car.
Don't lie. I know you girls got that friend You must got that friend. If I text you this, call me and say this. Stop acting like you only got that friend.
Oh,
my
yes.
kid.
You have to have
I
an
gotta go.
emergency.
No, I always have an escape route. What are you talking about? For real. We have code words, okay? If I get that code word, if I text that code word to my friend, I got a way out.
Exactly.
Okay, so aside from the size, come on now, let's be honest. Let's get some honest ones. You ain't gotta say no names. You just gotta say what the experience was. Come on now.
Cleanliness.
Okay, so cleanliness
Cleanliness.
and a small caca.
Yeah, if it's wafting,
Wafting? You talking about spaghetti?
like when you open, like when the underwear open and it's like there's a puff of air that hits you, and you're like, oh,
You get hit with that Pepe Le Pew green smoke, huh?
and you're like, and then now you have to be like, girl, I gotta get out of here. Call me ASAP. Yeah, definitely. If there's like smoke and that waft that comes out and hits you,
Yeah.
Okay, so but
It's
those
a
are two
wrap.
obvious things, man. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like, is there something other than that maybe the way he talks to you, maybe
Yeah.
sweating before it even starts, and you're like, this nigga glistening, and we can do nothing.
Bragging. Too much bragging. Like, if you're talking about how you're going to flip me up.
Mash up the clubs, huh?
Yeah.
No. If you're too extra, I'm just like, I know you're not talking about shit. Because if a man knows that he can do his job well, he doesn't have to brag about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think too, and this kind of coincides with actually the girl in the video. Almost at the time or in the moment, you're like, yeah, this is good. I want this. You know, I'm here saying, let's get it on. And as you start, and if you are sitting in your head, and then you're like, you know what? No, actually, what am I doing? This isn't right. I can see DJ's lip is already curling like, fuck you. But, you know, and I'm not going to lie, I had that situation where I was with somebody and it was only a few minutes in and I was like, this is absolutely wrong. Why am I doing this? This isn't even what I want. Right? And I stopped it and I said, no, I'm done. And he was pissed. Oh, yeah, he cussed me up and down the place and went about his business. Right? And now I have a 14-year-old. So, there, you know, I was in the moment and then I was like, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? And I know I didn't lead him on or anything like that. We were there was an opportunity, it started, and then I was like, yeah, no, you're acting actually outside of yourself right now. And as I tried to reclaim that, I got a cuss out, yeah. But I stopped it.
Now, when you say you were outside of yourself, was it you wanted a relationship out of it, and maybe this was a way that the relationship wouldn't be done, or was it just kind of like a situation like, why this motherfucker? Like,
neither. I think it was just, yeah, it wasn't why this motherfucker. He was honestly maybe just a pawn. Like he was just there.
okay, so
I knew that potentially he was attracted. I knew that he was attracted to me. And I thought I wanted to, like Jada said, I wanted to feel something. So
you wanted some deep healing.
So not that deep, but I just wanted something, you know. And then we started the action, and then I was like, no, this isn't right. As well too, up until at that point in my life, I had never been with someone sexually that I wasn't in a relationship with. Right, and that was, you know, my late 20s. I was like 27.
So not to play armchair psychiatrist, but
yep.
I think that is the main reason why everybody that you're in a relationship, you had sexual interaction with, you knew each other, you kind of grew with each other. While this was kind of like a hookup, and it was like in the midst of the hookup, you're like, I don't do this. This isn't my.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know? That was exactly it. Because it's like it started, and then I was like, you know, and no disrespect to the person, but it was like, and you and I don't know each other, we don't care about each other, we don't talk, like we don't have anything
Yeah.
in terms of communion with each other or relation with each other whatsoever. What am I doing?
Now, if you had a chance to go back, or not go back, but if you had a chance to talk to that person today and tell that person that, would you, or would you just say forget it, don't really matter?
Sure.
I'm only asking just for a question, right? Like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
because
Yeah, regardless.
because that in itself might make the situation from both sides more understandable.
Could
Like,
be.
if I was in that situation, the girl came to me 4 years later and said, "Yo, listen, had nothing to do with you," da, 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 I'd probably say, "You know what? My bad for doing whatever I did in the sense of cursing you out and calling you names that wasn't appropriate." But also, I think after 4 years, I'd probably be a different person. So I'd probably just be like, "You know what? What I did was childish. It don't even freaking matter what the excuse was, the reason is." Because, like I said before, free, in back of my younger days, niggas was call me Red Rover, Red Rover. I come over. You know what I mean? Like, no worries. I'm a married man now, but before I became married, I started cutting away the dog ties. The tail went, the ears got cropped.
Yeah,
I didn't get neutered yet. I'm still good, but I'm just saying I didn't participate in those activities that I was participating at when I was young and in relationships with girls and being, a bozo. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and I think, well, I don't know if having that conversation this long after the fact would make a difference for myself or even the other individual, because I know that I've kind of unpacked it and recognized what was going on and what my role was in the whole thing, right? And just took away my learnings. But at the same time, yeah, there is those situations that are above and beyond on the wafting, because the person has a cheesy buddy head and you're like, yeah, this isn't happening. Or yeah, they're talking way too much, and then they drop the draws and you're like, oh,
I come on with a mini me to Peter, huh?
that's cute.
Come on, you
I'm
can
not
come
gonna
on with
do
that
this. So
What about you, Asher? Come on, man. You let something out, man. Let something out.
No, I think I've been in situations where I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And it's for a host of reasons. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just not ready, right? Just like that girl. I was like, this is new. I'm just not ready. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should wait till I feel more comfortable. And I'm like, and of course, guys get upset because you're almost there. The tip is in. And you're like, maybe no, I don't really want to. And it's just in cases like that where you're kind of thinking in your head, like, okay, either this person, I know that this is just a random type jump off thing, and maybe I don't want to be the jump off girl, or whatever the situation is. But there's been situations where I'm like, I think this is just a jump off, and I don't want to be the jump off girl. So I'm gonna stop unless I can figure out, like, is this going to be a relationship, or just I'm calling you after the club all the time kind of thing.
Let's be honest here, man. Okay, as adults,
Mm-hmm.
whoever here is not married has got a roster. Stop acting like y'all women don't have a roster. Some of us men have rosters too. I'm married now. You don't want to be the jump off, but there's tons of guys in your roster that will possibly jump offs. No, you don't think of it that way?
I think there's periods of time where you do have a roster.
The roster ain't got to be 12 niggas. I'm just saying, like, you might have two,
No,
you might have three.
you might have, but it's a lot of work having to entertain all these different men, right?
yeah.
And sometimes you may be only sleeping with one, but you're still entertaining two others that are trying to get in there. And it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Hold on.
It's a lot of
Hold on,
work.
hold on. So you got one you sleep with, The other one buys you dinner, and the other one gets you Gucci. Where's the hard work at?
No, first of all, I wish they were buying me Gucci.
I know. I just exaggerate.
I'm like, what? I got the wrong roster. No, but there's times where
she's looking for a trade, ladies and gentlemen.
I got the wrong roster. No, I'm just saying that, there's been times where you're entertaining these guys and you're trying to, you're trying to be sneak. I've done it before because I'm like, oh, I see niggas do this. They be out here wilding, so I'm a wild too. And then I'm like, man, this is work. I got to be like kikiing with one. And then that one I really don't want to sleep with. Like, he's cool to talk to, but I don't want to sleep with. There's one that maybe I am, and then he's cool, but he might be broke. Then there's another one that I'm also, and then you try to, and honestly, it's a part of dating where you got to try to figure out, okay, which one do I actually like who has the qualities that I want.
You ladies are cold.
And that's where the work is.
You ladies are cold. This girl said, well, I like him. He's shelling it down, but he broke. Build a bit, bitch.
You guys do the same thing.
I am too.
Talking about.
No. Men do the same thing. Everybody.
What the fuck you mean?
But you have to decide who's worth investing in. You have to, because you might invest in someone and you don't get the return on your investment. So that's why it's work to figure out who is worth investing my time in. And at my age now, I don't have time to build anybody up. I've been building myself up, so you need to come at the same level as me. Like, if you're not here with me and you're down here,
but why was
I mean, call me when you get here.
But why was this right there, though? I'm not talking about there. I'm talking about right there.
Bring him up a little more. Bring him up a little more.
You know what happens when you build up a guy, though?
You're prepping for the next.
You leave your ass for somebody else. You put in all that work, you build up a man, and he leaves you for someone else.
Let me just ease this chair back a little bit.
Because he's feeling himself now, eh? All of a sudden, his draws don't stink. And he's taking out the nice ones that you got for him to go wear with somebody else.
Okay.
It's true. Nice. Sometimes you put in that work. You build this man up, and then 2 twos, man's gone. And now some other girl, she got a ring, she got a house, the whole dream picket fence, and you're like, when I met him, he was a scrub.
Yep, ain't got no credit, nothing.
Right? So that's why now, like, when I was younger, that's cool to do all that, but you learn from your previous experience. So now that I'm older, I can say, listen, sir, if you're not at this level, if you're not at this height, you can't come on this ride.
Right.
All right. Listen, man. Y'all talking about building somebody up for the next one? I've done that a few times myself. Okay?
It hurts.
It didn't hurt. You know what it was? I just wanted the credit, okay? That's all I wanted. You can have the bit, okay? You can have it. You can have the bag. You can do whatever you want with the bag. Just know that when you got this bag, it was in mint condition. That's all I want is the credit. I don't need anything else. You want to go hop, skip, and jump on the next PP? Go ahead. As long as you let the PP know, like it wasn't easy, Kingy Crush Glass taught me. That's all I want. My credit.
Yeah,
okay?
Never gonna happen.
Okay, that's all I want.
That's not gonna happen.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, when y'all say you're building them up for the next one, it goes both ways. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Like, I'm not gonna say no names, but this girl, I was with this girl for like 4 or 5 years. This girl had no ambition. I'm the reason why she went to school. I'm the reason why she got a degree. All this stuff. Her family didn't really help her. But guess what? Because she got a higher education, all of a sudden she looking down on me like, oh, you know, you still doing the same shit. Bitch, I'm still doing the same what? If it wasn't for me, you'd still be smoking coke. Doing ecstasy. Having man run trains on you. I don't know when it took you about that issue. Said, yo, do you focus on yourself? You're very smart. You're beautiful. I don't have you over here for that. I have you over here because I see potential in you. Same thing you women do with men. You see a guy, he might just be down on his luck. Can't get the right job. Clothes always looking mismatched. You come, you fix him up. You got him looking nice. And then next thing you know, he's off to the rigs. And then one day you come home and his clothes is gone and he's sleeping at Shireen's house and you upset because Shireen dusty, I understand. But all you should want is the credit. But listen, Jonathan used to be a bum. If it wasn't for me, Jonathan would not be looking fresh. So Jonathan, thank your mother. Because that's what you are. You're their mother.
I don't want to be anyone's mother. I have a son already. I don't need another one.
I'm just saying, for me, it'd be thank the papa.
I don't want the credit. No, don't give me the credit.
You always.
I want the reciprocity. Thanks.
Exactly.
For real.
Oh,
I want more than just credit.
No, I want the reciprocity in our relationship, and what I'm pouring into you, that you pour that back into me. It might not be in the exact same ways,
yeah,
but the level of it is equivalent, right? So we're pouring into each other, and that's what I want
a real partnership.
There we go, right? That's what I would want, right? In terms of that reciprocity with the other person. And you know, that's it. And I think that's not too much to ask for. Right. So, and if the person then chooses to move on, I think it would be very different if it was this relationship and we're pouring into each other and it doesn't work out, as opposed to I'm either pouring into him or he's pouring into me and then they're just gone. That really looks like they were just there to take.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything else you ladies want to add before we get to the rest of this clip? I know we got sidetracked, people. Hey, listen. You love this shit. Like, comment, subscribe, okay? Please, just do either of them. I don't care. And if you don't like what we putting out, just say it's trash. I don't care. I just want to know that y'all paying attention. It seems like y'all clicking and watching for like 5 minutes, and then y'all just get the fuck out the shit. Just say trash. Dislike. I don't give a shit. Anyways, sorry. I digress. Run the clip, bro.
Cody describes leading up to you guys having sex for the first time that you guys were friends that would hang out.
That's how I saw it. What did you think it was?
I thought we were like seeing each other.
Oh.
I definitely didn't see you as my friend. Like, I don't have sleepovers with my male friends.
Okay, the night of each other. How did that happen?
She had asked me to come over. We had a few drinks, and from what I remember, we had gone into the room, and then I think that I started kissing her, and she got upset. So we left the room and went back in, and that's when we had sex. That's kind of what I remember.
Okay.
And we used a condom, right?
I don't think so.
Oh shit, we didn't.
No, because we didn't want to.
That's one of the reasons
That's
why
where the arguing
upset.
came from. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. That's so weird. It all just hit me.
What do you remember me telling you after?
I remember you said that you weren't ready.
Yeah.
Like to have sex.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't get that.
When you were initiating sex with me, there was a lot of like pullback that I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do it. And you were definitely like into it and you were really pushing to have sex. And I was like, you know what? I really like this guy. So I had sex with you and I can start to like disassociate during sex. And that definitely happened when we were together. And being disassociative in that kind of action, I guess, or the environment of what was happening is such a weird kind of messed up feeling. And I think I just took all of that and associated like those negative feelings with you because I just didn't know how to process them, you know?
It totally makes sense when you actually just...
Anybody want to start with this? I mean...
Well, no, you had a little squawk in there, so I want to know what it was.
I was laughing because this goes to what this podcast will be talking about today, right? Communication. So he's like, "Oh, we just friends." She's like, "Oh, I thought we would see each other." Did either one of y'all converse about this?
Right.
In any form? Then you know what? I misspoke. They didn't start in the bedroom. They started in the living room. But made their way to the bedroom, and she changed her mind.
And
he pushed her right back in the bedroom after a few more drinks and got what he wanted. Not what she wanted, not what they wanted, what he wanted. It's I find it funny, not to laugh at the situation fully, but I find it funny that it started from the miscommunication of them not knowing what they are, which led to a whole bunch of this other BS that could have been sidetracked if he just said, "Am I in the friend zone?" And she said, "Nah, you in the get it in zone." Then things I think would have moved a little bit smoother. You know what I mean? For me, when I had lady friends, half of them I slept with, the other half I didn't. The ones that I slept with, we communicated beforehand. I'm not all men. That's just me. I communicated beforehand. Yo, is this what it is? Is this what it isn't? What is it? Because I didn't want to get caught in that friend zone or in that sucker zone where, I'm out here being laughed at or the police come get me because this girl said something totally different to me and something else happened. I just didn't want that scenario. So for this guy, he fucked up. You know what I mean? There was alcohol involved, which I tell people. For me, it brings out your true self. You lose all inhibition. You know what I mean? And you let out your truth. You know what I mean? And for him, his truth was he wanted to get it in. And for her truth was she didn't want to. She liked him. She wanted to build a relationship, and she felt midway through the whole interaction that sleeping with him might affect the relationship that she wants to have, but she didn't communicate it to him, and he took it another way, and there you go. What about y'all ladies? How y'all feel about it?
Yeah, I totally agree. He definitely did not respect her agency when he pursued after she said no. Um, and I also think it's interesting how each of their perspective of what they were, what the relationship was, is so drastically different. Like that's the part that I'm like, hmm, y'all weren't even on the same page in the same book, much less the same page.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's just proof to show you that you do have to articulate yourself and communicate and say, hey, this is what it is, or this is my expectation. And the other person has to say the same. And I'm totally guilty of being like, oh, I'm like nonchalant. It is what it is. And not actually communicating and saying, hey, this is actually what I think it should be, or this is how I feel. And then the other person, yeah, this is how I feel. That way we can come to a common ground. Most times I'm just like, meh, it is what it is.
Why is that though?
I think it's just my nature. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to communicate. Again, going back to if I communicate now, I have to be honest with my feelings and share that honesty with someone and be vulnerable with that other person. So I'm going to just let me wait and see what they say and then adjust myself accordingly.
Okay, y'all out here doing the catfish shit with emotions, huh?
No, it's not catfishing. It's just trying to figure out I want to know first where that person is because suppose I'm that girl and like, oh yeah, we've seen each other. And he's like, bitch, we just friends. We're like, oh, but I planned our wedding and everything. What do you mean? I don't want to be that girl. So that's why sometimes I will say, let me see. All right, it is what it is. Let's see what you're saying. And I totally agree. It's not. I don't think it's the right way to communicate. I know it, and I do try to do better. And I try to actually say, okay, this is how I feel. I do feel like I'm planning a wedding. So are you on the same page or is it just in my head?
But hold on, why do you have to say it like that though? Why can't you start with, "Hey, would you like to build with me? Would you like to see where we could take each other?"
Oh,
Like, I know it
why did I
sounds
say it like
corny
that?
from somebody who's already married to be saying these type of things, but like literally in any relationship I've had with any woman, I've always been like, "Yo, like, are you trying to do something, or are you just trying to do something?" You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. It has to be that communication. Like when I say I'm planning a wedding, that's my extreme thoughts that I'm having. Like I don't really be thinking like that
You don't show up
right
at
off the
the house
bat.
like, I got the dress already, baby.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not actually. I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
Okay.
But I will now. I think about it when I meet somebody. It's like, okay, first we kick it, see how we vibe, and then from there, if you feel like there's good chemistry, it's like, okay, are we like, is there a purpose for this? Are we just kicking it? Because if we're just kicking it, then I can now decide: do I just want to kick it, or do I want to say no? I really need a relationship where we're dating with a purpose to whatever, right? Build together. So now I think about that more. But when you're younger, and even for them, like this was 5 years ago for them. So she's like, oh, yeah, we're seeing each other. But when you're young, sometimes you don't have the knowledge and the experience to actually think about, like, okay, are we really seeing each other? Like, we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Like, we go together after we do this? Or nah? So I think as, with time and experience, you kind of figure it out and you get to know yourself as well.
That's right.
You want to see y'all ladies?
They agree with me.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
it.
I don't care. Ain't no pinch hitter. There's no designated hitter over here, okay? This is a balance of opinions podcast, okay? That means everybody's opinion. All right?
So my opinion is that I agree with Asha.
Whack. She took the lazy route, ladies and gentlemen. She took the lazy route.
Well, no, I think that is a very important thing that doesn't happen enough in relationships when we're young, but that's also a habit that we tend to carry forward, as we get into, our later 20s, mid 30s, sometimes even 40s and 50s, that we're not fully communicating what we want, and standing confidently in that and knowing that it is okay to say, look, I want a relationship. I don't just want to chill. I want to date with purpose. Or at least you and I are dating. What are you looking for? Point blank, period. No, I just like to go out and have fun, and sometimes I like to go on hikes, right? True, right away, first date, you're not sitting there, okay, well, these are my expectations, but you can still have that conversation in a lighthearted way while you're still saying that, these are my limits, these are my boundaries, these are my expectations, and leave that door open to ask the other person the exact same thing. Because at times, relationships, I think, don't work out because, yes, the communication might be lost, but also, too, we just want completely different things. So we're not meant to partner, right? It might be initial attraction or even, some form of chemistry that drew us together. But within these honest conversations and this type of communication, we're recognizing, what, this isn't going to work. As opposed to not saying anything and then carrying a 2, 3, 4 year relationship and despising this person and saying, well, they're not this, that, and the third. Well, A, did you guys ever speak about it? Did you let them know what your, I guess, criteria was? And also, two, is some of your criteria even realistic, right? What you're putting and demanding on another person, or I have an idea of what my man is to be. I'm with you now, and I expect you to be this 100% ideal when I might not even be the mirror of that ideal. You're on mute.
You're on the hook, Danny. Sorry, I be vaping, and I noticed in the podcast sometimes when I vape, even though I don't see my box light up, you can hear it, and I know for some people it's quite annoying. So I'm sorry for muting my mic, but yeah, Danny, you on the hook here, man. You should have beat Free to it. You should have bet Free the last one now. What you got, player?
Honestly, I definitely agree with both ladies. But I think that in order for you to avoid miscommunication or even heartbreak and, disagreements down the line, you gotta just say what you want from jump. And if you're not on the same page, all right, cool. Define like what it is that you're doing. Like, hey, we're friends with benefits, or we're trying to build with benefits, or we're gonna be in a relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Or yeah, right now I'm not ready for a relationship, but it is something that I want down the line, and let's see if we can build to that point, or whatever it is that you want. Just say it, and then you can decide whether or not that suits your whole plan or your vision or whatever it is that you want. And like, yeah, I definitely do feel like people need to have realistic expectations. First of all, don't place any expectations on anybody else. That's something that I've learned. Like you can't do that, and especially don't have a long laundry list of expectations that you expect somebody else to live up to, and you don't do that yourself. Basically, don't require from any other person anything that you can't give yourself. Like, you don't have to offer yourself. And yeah, just speak up. We gotta learn how to speak up. And I know it's hard, especially for me, because like I used to be super, super shy. And like I would just not say anything. Like, you know what I mean? I would just kind of like let everything roll. However it landed is how it landed. Like, but now I'm just like, nah, if I don't feel good, I'm gonna say something. If I want something, I'm gonna say something. And that way you just cut out all the bullshit and the sorry.
My brother can bleep it out, man.
Okay.
You're free. Everybody is free to curse. I curse the most on this podcast, so trust me. I know when y'all ladies do it with each other, there's like 2 words my brother gotta bleep out. Every time I'm on this mic, you gotta bleep out half the show. So don't even worry about it. I got that potty mouth.
It just makes life so much easier when you just communicate more. Clear communication is key. Don't if something's bothering you, don't be passive aggressive and just not say nothing. Just let it out.
I can't do that all the time. I gotta be passive aggressive.
No.
You have to understand why I have to be passive aggressive.
Why?
I'm a Taurus.
Spirit is okay.
No. I'm a Taurus.
Oh God.
When I go forward, it's forward. You're not pushing me to the left. You're not pushing me to the right. I'm not going backwards. So sometimes my philosophy is if it's something that really doesn't matter, like it's not a deal breaker, you know what I mean? Then I'm not gonna bring it up. I might be a little cheesed about it. My attitude might change for like, a couple hours or maybe a day, but then I forget about the shit and I move on. You know what I mean? Because like I said, even in communication, sometimes there's things we all wear 2 faces. Danny, me and you had this conversation a while ago, right? Everybody wears 2 faces, okay? Everybody. You got the face that you have with yourself, and then you have the face that you have with others. Whether it's your significant other, your job place, whatever it is. Sometimes those 2 faces can come together and cause chaos. You know what I mean? For me at my workplace, I'm a super nice guy, but I just don't have patience for adults who don't want to do what they're supposed to do. Which in turn, in my marriage, sometimes my wife will do something that I assume that she knows she shouldn't do, and I might get upset about it. And then I sit back and I say, should I address it with her because it could cause a bigger problem, or should I leave it? In certain cases, if it's like not a deal breaker, but it's something that I know every time she does it is going to annoy me, I bring it up. I state, hey, listen, I don't like the way you did this. This wasn't cool. She might not agree with me, but at least I let her know where I stand with it. So then she can make the decision to either try to improve on not creating that situation, or she can be like, fuck you, nigga, I don't give a shit. You stuck with me for life. Do you know what I mean? And I think everybody, whether it's a relationship between a man and woman, a woman and woman, a man and man, whatever it is, work relationships, friend relationships, there has to be an understanding of where the other person is coming from and what you might be doing, involuntarily, because, it's not all the time people are trying to piss somebody off, but sometimes words are said or actions are done that could set somebody off, and that communication is what we need worldwide. It's part of the reason why we got Black Lives Matter right now. They're telling white people, they're out here killing us. Now they seen on video and they still like, what are y'all complaining about, man? You got LeBron James. Are you serious? Everybody know LeBron James? I know I got LeBron James. Shit, I'm broke as fuck. You know what I mean? I ain't sitting on no money like that. And even if I was, I wake up every day black. So don't tell me what my struggle is supposed to be like. You know what I mean? But yet again, not to go on to that. But yeah, communication is definitely key. And I believe that you shouldn't do it right away. You don't have to be honest right away. But if you feel like it could be something more, then you need to set it down. You need to explain to the other person. And if the other person is honest, then you can figure out where you're going from there. You know what I mean? But if they're not, you know, which, to be honest, we can't say everybody's honest because, you know, sometimes people just want to get it in, right? So they're going to say the sweet nothings and sweet dreams to get up in them panties or get that dick. And then, you know, once they get what they want, they're like, man, I thought it was going to be better than this. I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you guys cut someone off without communicating that you had an issue? Or if you did, that you had an issue or without giving any reason? Just dead.
I'll let the ladies go first.
My spirit doesn't allow me to do that because I can't. I have to get it off my chest.
Hold on. You said your spirit? You gonna tell
My
me?
spirit will.
Listen, you ain't never go somebody like Power?
No. I'm gonna cuss you out first. I can't because honestly, I will be up all night, can't sleep because I'm like, I didn't tell them that they did this, and this to me, and I didn't like how they did this, and this.
You an honest black woman.
I have to get it off my chest. Like any relationship, even with work. If someone does something at work that I don't like, and I didn't speak up in the meeting and say, hey, that ain't cool, I will go to bed and be tossing and turning, and I can't do it. My blood pressure, no. I got to get it off my chest. Once I get it off my chest, then you will never see me again. Like if I'm cutting you off, then it's like I said my piece, and I might not even wait for your rebuttal. I'll be like, I said what I gotta say. You can talk to the wall now.
Cut it.
I'm done.
Cut it.
But I gotta get it off my chest. That gives you high blood pressure. I don't need that.
I think I've been both veins. There's been times where I don't know. I'm just like, this isn't even worth any type of energy for me. So I'm just not even gonna, so I've ghosted, not a lot, but I've ghosted in the past. But I do prefer to say what I need to say. Sometimes I even care enough to give them the opportunity to respond. But I think it really depends on if I want to or feel the need to salvage, I guess, the friendship, or at least being cordial with each other afterward. Then I'd want to communicate or talk about it. And then there's other times where I have, said, okay, nope, this isn't working for me. I don't like it. I'm not going to continue, whatever. And that wasn't an opening to communicate to try and fix it because I was still out anyways. Like that's usually when I make up my mind and I'm never speaking to you again, it's not going to happen. But now I think it's fair. It's more fair, at least, to give that other person an indication or an idea as to why. Because I've been on very much the receiving end of being ghosted, and I sat there like wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? Or what went wrong? Or why? And I sat in my head and picked myself apart and blah, blah, blah. And, after getting no answers and getting nowhere from that, I just had to, almost accept that conversation that never happened, or, accept the apology you're never going to get and move on. But there was a moment that I sat in this space of not knowing, and it drove me crazy. So I think now I wouldn't just ghost. I would at least say, this isn't working for me. This is why.
Okay. All right. Let me pull this mic a little closer. I don't cut people off. I burn the motherfucking bridge. What I mean by that is I just tell them straightforward, jump off a bridge head first. I have the gasoline. I'm walking on the bridge, putting the gasoline over the bridge. And I'm like, you know what? Doesn't really matter what you think. Throw the lighter on there, burn that bitch. Now, I've reconciled and rebuilt a few bridges, and I've gotten better at communicating in the sense of being like, yo, listen, why would you do that, man? That's not cool. But in my younger days, yeah, like I said, I would literally just light the bridge. And it didn't matter if it was male, female, whoever. If you did something wrong to me, 9 times out of 10, I already told you the first time. So I'm not repeating myself. You're not my daughter who's 5 years old. You know what I mean? That's always been my thing as a kid. Like, me and you the same age. Well, as we grow up, you have to learn right and wrong. You have to learn responsibility, accountability. So if we all go to a club and I get super drunk and I touch one of y'all and you're like, yo, what are you doing? That's it. There's that interaction should have never happened to begin with because we all were just chilling. But I decided to get in my own demon hole, pull up my own demons, and start parading them around and making people feel uncomfortable, making people be like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? Like, why would he think that that is cool? You know what I mean? And I think people do that a lot nowadays, and their first reaction is, well, fuck you. They don't attempt to apologize. They don't attempt to say, well, this day you were acting kind of weird. What was the problem? Was it me or something going on with you? You know what I mean? People tend not to do that, but for guys I know personally, me, when I've ghosted chicks, it's because my intention was never to really even fuck with them in the beginning. It was just like, oh yeah, I got what I wanted. On to the next.
I
Yeah, answer
think
that for you, Dan?
it's so disrespectful to ghost somebody.
Yeah, it is.
Like, if I ghost somebody, that would be like me. I'm saying you, your mom, your grandma, kick rocks and Birkenstocks because that level of disrespect.
Yeah.
And so like when people do it to me, I take offense to it. Like I find that to be the most disrespectful thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mom told me if you ain't got nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all.
My mom said that too, but that don't stop me.
I understand, but I'm just saying sometimes for the ghosting, it's like, okay, if we're in a big group of people, we all know each other. I have a relationship with somebody inside that group, and that relationship turns sour. Sometimes putting fuel on that fire can affect everybody else in that group instead of just cutting ties. Where it's like, okay, that person might ask one or two people, they're like, he's a good guy, man. I don't know what's wrong with him. But maybe I felt some type of way, and I felt that if I had brought it to you, that you would now parade it around the group, not saying that they will, just saying that it might be paraded around the group, and then it will be turned out that I'm the bad guy, even though maybe it's something that you did. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, we
In a
play this
group,
game of telephone with a lot of stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
we can call you up today and be like, yo, I heard Johnny, da-da-da-da. Then somebody else call you, Johnny, da-da-da-da. By the time you get to Johnny now, there's 15 different stories that haven't been edited, and now Johnny's giving you the raw cut. Make sense?
Yeah.
You wanted to say something, Daddy. I can see it in your face. What's up? Say it. Go ahead. Let it out. Let it out.
Man, I don't. Okay, as adults, we're long since, out of high school and that mentality and that level of maturity. I feel like if you feel like something's not, whether or not you feel something's not going to work with somebody, or you feel disrespected a lot, like me personally, I think I would only ever just clean cut slice someone off if I've repeatedly expressed to them, yo, what you're doing, what you're saying is mad disrespectful, whatever it is that they do, and they keep doing it and they don't respect those boundaries, then you're done, because I explained to you time after time, and I give a lot of chances. I got a big heart, which is, I don't know, I think that's part of my downfall. I hope it won't be.
Downfall? It's not a downfall. I got a big heart too, but I'm just stubborn as hell. Like, I tell you twice, that's it. I'm
But, you know, but then it's not fair if I never said anything at all, and
Right.
whatever they're doing is bothering me and they're unaware, then you can't really blame them because they don't know, right? Because a lot of people do shit, you know, that's either disrespectful or hurtful or just whatever. It's just bothersome, and they're not even aware.
Yeah.
So then I think it's disrespectful. Like if I did something that you don't like, I would want you to tell me, because then I'm gonna fix that behavior. You know what I mean?
Or
I'm
not
very
fix it.
huh?
Or not fix it, depending on how the relationship is.
Exactly, depending. Like if someone's gonna ask me to do something to make them feel more comfortable, that's gonna take me outside of who I am, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool, then we're not meant to be. That's cool. But at least you told me, right? But if I'm doing something that's hurtful to you, disrespectful, whatever, anything you don't like the way I chew my food, I don't know, whatever the heck it is, then you just express that.
It's okay to swear. My brother will bleep it out. Like you just heard me drop 5 F-bombs with an MFer. Okay. Good. Just let it out.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's disrespectful to me. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I've had people say like, yo, you know, I don't like when you speak a different language in front of me, which is cool because they don't understand it. That is disrespectful. And I apologized and I said, you know, sorry, my cousin does speak English, and next time I'll cool. No more problems with that particular friend. But I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I have been in situations where, you know, people who I've been friends with before and turn into something else, and then poof, nigga got abducted by aliens or something. Like, you know, like I up to this day, I still don't know what happened. And sometimes, like before, like it made me feel really bad about myself for a while, a very long time, because I just picked myself apart, and I was like, okay, well, because I struggled with my weight for a long time, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's because I gained a little more weight, you know, maybe I was really stressed out, my skin, you know, maybe it was breaking out a little bit, maybe, I don't know, like everything you could think of. I picked myself apart when I tell you, I was like in pieces, like on the floor, wondering what the hell I did. Until one day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, if this person or these people who professed to be my friend and cared about me and told me that they wanted to build whatever with me and didn't have that smidgen of respect to say, you know, I don't like you like that no more, or whatever, something else came along, or I'm just dealing with my own shit right now, I don't have time for this, then they don't deserve to take space up in my mind.
Absolutely.
But it does hurt. It definitely messes with you. It messes with your mind for sure.
I totally agree.
It sucks.
Yeah, I've been ghosted. I mean, I guess because of myself, it took me 10 minutes. And then I said, well, whatever, I'm good. On to the next. But yet again, like I said, this is just me. I don't really have time to always beg for forgiveness or ask for permission or try to be something somebody else wants me to be. I can only be myself. The loud, belligerent, dark skin, toxic ass nigga I am, okay? And if that toxicity you can't handle, you ain't got no vaccine for it, then get the fuck up out of here. I don't really care. Life is too short to dwell on somebody not wanting to mess with you. Because guess what? Maybe that person just wasn't for you. You know what I mean? I put a post up on my IG the other day talking about people in general, and sometimes, you know, it's like bad food. You know what I mean? If you're not around people who have the same energy and have almost the same goals or just want to reach something higher, then of course, if you're around somebody that just want to sit around all day, eat bag of chips and play video games and get fat, that's what's gonna happen to you. Eventually, it's gonna rub off. You know what I mean? So maybe that person realized that you were on your way up. You know what I mean? Or maybe you took a stumble and they weren't willing to be there to pick you up. So they weren't even a true friend or a true companion to begin with. Because if you genuinely care about people, you can see. I don't like giving panhandlers money. I know half of them are using it for drugs. But every now and then I see one, I look at them, I analyze them for a second. Yo, here's a 20, man. I know you're gonna use it for liquor or whatever, but here's a 20, man. Hopefully. I sat a drunk guy down the other day. Young black man, got a kid. I'm trying to fix my life, man, while he's holding a 60 pounder of liquor. I said, that demon right there is the reason why you ain't doing right. Clean yourself up, man. It's 2020. Find something that you're interested in and build yourself up. It's never too late. But sometimes people don't get that. You see what I'm saying? They can't be told that stuff. And if they can't be told that stuff, or not can't, sometimes they're not told that stuff, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much times you tell them, they're just gonna run through that same brick wall. Even if their arms ain't working, all that other stuff. So, yeah, it's not right to ghost people, but I do it from time to time. I can't lie. I am that demon.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You sure? I thought you wanted to say something else, Free. That's why, so you good?
Good.
Ashley, you good?
I'm good.
Danny, you good?
Good.
All right. Let's give a happy fuckboy welcome to what's his name again? Oh, the Booster Seat boy, Tory Lanez. So I got into an argument with my homeboy on IG Live. I didn't keep the recording. I should have. What do you women think about that whole scenario with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion? How do you feel about it?
His ego is just bigger than him. I feel like I think he tried. I don't know what happened. He could come up with a bunch of scenarios, but whatever happened, like she said, they were in an argument, and then she got up out the car and left, try to remove herself from that situation. So that should have been the end of it. She's gone. She's out of the car. She's like, he was in the back seat. She was in the front seat. She dipped. Why do you feel the need to, pull out a Glock and shoot somebody in both feet? Like, I don't know. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. No excuses.
I don't mean to be really disrespectful, but that's some Toronto nigga shit. Like, that I really, like, that's a Rexdale type Jaden Finch niggas that would do some shit like that. Shoot a woman in her foot.
Let's
not be disrespectful. I know.
Let's not be disrespectful to our country. We know Toronto niggas is wild, okay? But I don't know.
They be wild. And how does it escalate? I want to know, how does an argument escalate to the point that you're gonna shoot somebody in their foot?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I'm curious to understand. Like, what was the argument about?
Have y'all not watched Harlem Nights?
Yes, I watched Harlem Nights many times.
You see what?
I don't want to be shot in my pinky toe.
So you see how that situation escalated very quickly? He was upset. He came out there, put the paws on him. He realized he can't beat him. So what he do? You pulled his pistol out. He go, listen, I'm tired of this. You gonna hold something. She said, yeah. Put her foot out like, go ahead. Pop. I'm not putting Tory Lanez in that. I'm just trying to make comedy out of this very bad situation here, okay? Tory Lanez is a sucker. He's a simp. Whatever other name in the dictionary that could describe this short midget, balding, dickhead, you can use. In no way, shape, or form does altercation between a man and a woman need to end in violence. Forget the shooting. What's going on there? And they say hi. Say hi. No, she going. It doesn't need to end in violence, okay? Now, Megan has had reports of her beating up on some of her boyfriends. To some degree of being violent with them. I can't see a scenario or a situation where she's in the front and he's in the back and she has a chance to be violent with him, especially since he's sitting beside her best friend, which is another lady. For him to pull out his toolie, which I don't understand. What you got security? Why you got that on you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have security. Why are you holding a firearm? Or did you ask your security guard for his firearm and let off of their foot? And that's why y'all try to make this whole smear campaign. Because I knew he did it. You know, like I said, the homie I was talking to, he was upset. He was trying to say, oh, street rules, you know, she shouldn't be telling. And I said, I can understand to a certain degree if she was in the street life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, like if it was Remy Ma, Renee, stop that. If it was Remy Ma that this situation happened to, and she went on IG and told, I'd be a little upset. Because I'd be like, Remy Ma, you went to jail for shooting your friend over some money. You couldn't just pick up a toolie and go deal with it? I'm not saying that that's what you're supposed to do, but I'm just saying this is what you portrayed yourself as, a street person. Somebody who doesn't call police. A person who deals with stuff with them and their people. Renee, stop that. I understand you doing the flip, but do the flip in your room. You get me? Thank you. Sorry about that. Now, she only came out and said what she said because Tory Lane's PR people were trying to smear her the whole time. She was quiet the whole time until she started getting the reports that Tory Lanez and them were saying, oh, she's violent, she's this, she's that. And personally, we can't be out here talking about this Black Lives Matter and be getting on Megan Thee Stallion for telling on this goof. Because he shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know what I mean? It needs to matter all the time. Altercations should not escalate from fists to knives to guns unless both people introduce them into the equation. Free?
Sure.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. What do I think about the situation? Tory's whack for it. You know, even if she was being physical or violent towards him, how weren't they in like some stretch suburban type business? How was she reaching him? You know what I mean? From the French
5'7"
so
and got long legs and long arms and that whap. She hit him with the whap. He got upset.
Nonetheless, for her to say, okay, argument done, or I'm not participating in this, and she's outside of the vehicle, and then you're shooting, I don't know if he was trying to shoot at her directly or around her or what, you know, pop off shots behind her to scare her. But I think even just for the simple fact that you're taking a weapon that could have ended her life. What if, God forbid, that bullet hit the concrete and it ricocheted and went right through her back? Like just thank goodness it didn't, but the how big and bad it could have really turned into. And then to know that you say nothing, and true, you don't owe the public any type of explanation for anything. So they say. But you are a celebrity. It's already out there in the atmosphere. And I think it's even more cowardice of him to not be honest about what happened and to let her almost take the heat because she's taken the brunt of what people are assuming are her actions, but also for him. And she even made a statement that I didn't call the cops, I didn't say anything because they're out here killing us right now. So I said nothing. So even still, in her being the victim of his aggression, she was still trying to protect him. And this Pumps is just, I don't know. He's just, bye, Tory.
That y'all ain't got nothing else to add to that?
Bye,
No,
Tory.
I definitely agree with that. Like, and people calling her a snitch didn't make sense to me because she's a civilian. She's not about that life. You know what I mean? So, and if something happened to her, she could talk about it. She
It's
wasn't
her experience.
exactly. It happened to her. It was her experience. Not like she was out there with Tory shooting people together. Like, you know, it happened to her for no reason. And despite like her having the opportunity to defend herself and to get justice or whatever, she didn't because she knew that he's a black man in America. She was fearful of what could happen, and she protected him for weeks. And he took it upon himself to start this whole foolishness to say that she did X, Y, Z when he knew that wasn't the truth. For what? So I think I'm glad that she did speak up, and I think that she should have spoken up sooner, but you know he's whack, pretty
Yeah,
much.
he's like between a rock and a hard place because first, society, we're here, what I'm saying, we just in general, say something, say something. How come she's not saying something? Say something, say something. She says something and then they're like, she's a snitch. Why is she talking? Or why is she putting it on the gram? And well, so what do you want? She's
Yeah,
damned if she does. She's damned if she doesn't. So, as she's doing, she might as well just do whatever the fuck she pleases, right?
exactly.
But also, too, she's standing in her truth and saying, "No, this is what happened." Since y'all, so red-eyed to find out, and now that you guys find out, it's not as salacious, almost, right? It's not this really twisted, glamorized, romanticized type happening. The guy is a fucking loser and he shot me in my feet. That's what it is, right? There's not no, I was jealous over Kylie, or I found out that he's fucking my best friend, because that's another thing that's out there. It wasn't any of that. There was an argument. It really isn't our business what the argument was about, right? But there was an argument. She said, I'm not having it. I'm out. He didn't like that. He needed to regain some power and some control. He shot her. Sad.
The sad part is that this happens to celebrities, right? But the sad part is that this happens to women that are nameless all the time, where it's an argument or whatever it is, and it escalates to violence.
Mm.
So instead of me personally, I just think that, yeah, everyone's talking, oh, she's a snitch, or Tori's this, Megan's this. Yeah, but this should also bring light to a bigger problem, which is violence against women, which happens all the time. And there's women out there that don't have a platform or don't even get to share their story and say, hey, this nigga did this to me. So to me, I think it's a bigger problem.
Oh, definitely. That's why I made the statement of we talking about Black Lives Matter, right? It should matter all the time. It shouldn't just matter when it's a cop killing a black person. It shouldn't just matter when we feel like we're being discriminated against. Listen, if somebody works a 9 to 5, does not commit crimes, and somebody does something to them where they have to call the police, that person, yet again, let me repeat this, is not a snitch. We need to stop grouping everybody with 6ix9ine and Sammy the Bull and Frank Lucas and all these other tattletales who dipped their hand or dipped their body in the dirty pool and then came out talking about, yo, y'all need to rinse me off. That ain't happening. Okay? Um, Women being abused is something that is so hard for people to understand at times. I don't understand why it is, because uh, I've seen women that have been in an abusive relationship and literally don't leave the relationship because they're afraid they're gonna get killed. They don't say nothing because they're afraid they're gonna get killed. You know what I mean? That has to stop. I understand that trauma, everybody deals with trauma differently, but somebody shouldn't be constantly, continuously being traumatized. And then you wonder why, when they get free of that trauma, that's what they run back to because that's all they know. You know what I mean? We need to take women's uh, truths and take them as they are. It's not always true, but I can tell you 85% of the time it is. You know what I mean? I only say that because there's a football player. I know you guys don't really pay attention to sports, but several years back, his girlfriend claimed that he beat her up. He went through the whole thing. NFL suspended him. Come to find out, the girl said, I just said it because he's mad and he kicked me out the house. You know what I mean? So, yet again, that's like 1%. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of guys out here who have mother issues, daddy issues, and they seem to take it on their significant other. And it needs to stop. they need to be put on blast. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to say?
I don't know if this is kind of like derailing the conversation, but like I feel like a lot of the times when stuff happens to women, it's always our fault. Like
Yeah.
like I saw something on Instagram the other day, um, talking about Cardi B's divorce, and they were talking about, oh, I guess your WAP couldn't keep him, or I guess like you're like it's because you didn't cook, it's because you don't clean, it's because you don't do this. Why you can't keep a man? Why can't a woman just decide that this marriage isn't right for me anymore. This relationship isn't right for me anymore. I'm gonna leave because that's what's gonna better suit me. Why does it always have to be like your relationship didn't work out, so it must be that you're not, you know, you're inadequate as a woman.
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes both ways though. Sometimes the men get the same criticism, right? Why she break it up with you when you dick small? You can't stop fucking with these other chicks. Do you know what I mean? Like it goes both ways in that sense. But I fully understand what you're saying, and to be completely and utterly honest for myself, um, I used to do the victim blaming. Me and my cousin got into an argument, who I no longer talk to because he's funny, and I don't mean haha. But we were talking about some of the women with the Bill Cosby case, and I was saying to him, you know, I'm not saying that they deserve what they got, but if we have a house party and there's drugs all over the place and there's orgies going on, if you don't want to be part of that, you shouldn't go in that house. I don't care if your best friend went in there. You tell your best friend, hey, listen, this is a little too, you know what I mean? Because you can't suspect that you're going to be safe in that environment. You can't. Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, all these older comedians, all these guys, there was drugs. It's documented. They'd have parties at their houses or hotels, just like rock stars and stuff like that, and have drugs. Now, is it the woman's fault that she went in there? No. But at the same time, she did subject herself to an environment that isn't safe for her. If she didn't know that by all these women getting drugged before, then what are we talking about? For me, it's not that she didn't tell on him then, it's that she waited 30 years to talk about it. I understand Bill Cosby was a powerful man. I had this conversation with a Me Too girl like last year, I think, and she was telling me about her experience. And for me, even then and now, I still like if somebody violated you, I don't care what the repercussions are going to be for that person. You need to say something because you can wait 5 years and people are going to say, I don't believe you. And you can say it now and people are going to say, I don't believe you. Which one is going to damage you more? You living with that trauma for 5 years, letting it build up, you seeing other people or seeing that person, or you just exposing that person for what they are. Right then and right there. Yeah, okay, it might take you a week, it might take you a month, but don't wait 20, 30 years and then say, yeah, well, this person, they touched me the wrong way. And expect the public, I'm not saying me, but the public, the general people out here to really have any sympathy for you because everybody's operating on different levels. Does that make sense?
It does. But I know I have a friend of mine, and she told me how someone had violated her. And it's not even someone that she knows, right? And this was in a professional setting, someone violated. And I was like, my first instinct was like, yo, tell them, like, tell somebody. And she literally said to me, you know what? Maybe I was giving signals. And that's when I realized at that moment, I realized why victims might take so long to speak up. Because this person, I'm like, if this person did this to you and violated you, and this is a professional setting, it's not someone that you have like a relationship with, it's strictly professional, and this person violated like that, I'm sure he's done it to other people. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to be the one to come out and say something first because she felt like it could be my fault. Maybe I was being flirty or whatever. And that's when I realized I can understand why some people like may not say anything. And it's hard for to be the first person to be like, hey, so and so violated.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they should go to a therapist at minimum to let it out. I'm not saying
Oh,
that they have to go to the police or anything right away, but you need to find somewhere where you can let it out and get your a piece of yourself back, as well as know what the scenario is. Also, us as human beings, our memories sometimes aren't the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes we see something that wasn't there, or you know, we remember something in a different way than somebody else. Just like the video we seen, right? Like the guy was like, "Oh yeah, we used protection," and she was like, "Nah, we didn't use protection." Our minds play tricks on us sometimes. But in that scenario of that person being violated, I always feel that they should step out some way, somehow, and find somebody to help them with that scenario. Because dealing with that trauma over time only leads to more scars. Do you know what I mean? Leads to more mistrust, leads to situations that can become very toxic, and the other person may not even be that, but they're looking at that person in that eyes. Like my homegirl Sherry, that me and Free had a conversation with, a few weeks back, right? Like something traumatizing happened to her, and it was a colored person. And every time she was around that group, anxious and you know what I mean. I knew what the problem was. Some people didn't know what the problem was, but I mean, she found a way to talk about it. It took her a while to get over it, but for her, she called the police right away. You know what I mean? Dude's a piece of shit, and he's violated it, and he had to go to jail. He had to be punished. You know what I mean? And I feel like that should honestly be the outcome every time. I understand that there might be some, oh, well, maybe I did. It doesn't matter. The person shouldn't have violated you to begin with. You know what I mean? You think the kids in
yeah.
Africa that have no food sat there and said, oh, yeah, we'll wake up today and just have flies fly around me all day. No, they're in that scenario. We should, as a first world country, we should be helping them. We don't do that all the time, but you know what I mean? Like people need to understand that we're in a generation now where communication has to be the key. We can't be doing this, and it's not gonna work. It's not gonna benefit me. It's not gonna benefit you. It's not gonna benefit others. Go ahead, Free. I see you itching.
No, I'm nodding. Um, I'm just nodding and agreeing.
Oh, that's you ain't got nothing else to say? You good?
No, that's what I got this time.
Daddy, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
As you good?
I'm good.
All right then. Well, I know this has probably been like a 2-hour show. Y'all better watch the whole damn thing, okay? Like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy King E Crush Glass and my beautiful daughter Nene. Say hi.
Hi.
She's gonna
Hi,
drink
Nene.
water.
I can see the stairs. Can you the stairs?
Yeah, I can hear it. So, anyways, it's your boy King E Crush Glass with my homegirl
This is Free La.
and our two guests for today's episode.
Miss Sasha.
Danny.
All right. Thank y'all. Stay tuned.